Hello, I'm Grant from Maker's Vlog, and today, as you may know, there is a pandemic going on at the minute. And here in the UK at least, everyone's on lockdown and everyone's stuck in the house. Now, a lot of people are using that as an opportunity to learn a new skill or get a bit fitter or whatever, which is absolutely fantastic. Like, yes, go do the thing. Good for you, making the best of a bad situation. And as some of you may know, a lot of the skills and stuff that I know on this channel and have shown off, a lot of them are self-taught. And I know that at the start, I definitely struggled with trying to learn some of these skills. And so I thought I would share some of a few tips and stuff that have helped me get through learning these skills and sort of power through, because it's very easy to start learning something new. It's difficult to keep seeing it through, and it's keeping that momentum is what I'm hopefully my hints and tips here will help you with. So first and foremost is, it sounds self-explanatory, but pick something that interests you, that you actually have a bit of a passion for. And you may not have a passion for it right away, don't get me wrong, but look at something that you might be interested in. So say, for sake of argument, baking, and go online and have a look and see what other people are doing, and have a look at all these different things and see if it excites you, and see if you can actually go, do you know what, yeah, this is definitely something that I want to do and I could see myself doing. If you can do that, happy days, crack on. If not, if you're not too sure about it, it doesn't mean you have to stop altogether, but maybe, start learning a bit and see. But if you really don't get that sort of excitement about it, maybe try something else. The second thing is pick a project or a goal and make it achievable. Is a key thing. So there's no point saying that, okay, I'm going to learn programming and I'm going to make a new app that's going to be amazing and make me millions, and I'm going to be the next Zuckerberg. Probably not achievable, and you're just going to burn yourself out. So maybe not. Pick something small. So if it's programming, maybe be like, okay, I want to make a simple game. Something like Flappy Bird, if you just remember that, where you tapped and the bird went up and down. Dead simple to make. And something like that would be achievable within a reasonable time frame. So pick a goal and make it achievable. Now, you might be thinking, how do I pick a goal if I don't really know the skill? How do I know if it's achievable or not? Because, you might think, okay, I'm going to make a 3-tiered cake as baking within 3 weeks. And you actually start it and find out that's actually really, really difficult to do, and it might not be achievable. And that's fine. You don't need to set the goal necessarily right at the start. Or even be aware that if you do set a goal, that you might need to change it or tweak it. So if you go, okay, I'm going to make a Flappy Bird clone, I'm going to learn to do that, and I want to learn this language, and you find out that actually it's really difficult to make that type of game in that language, but you can make a slightly different game, that's fine. You can either switch languages in the case of programming, or switch to a different style of game. That's in programming, but the same principles apply for anything like woodworking or baking or whatever. So pick something that is achievable. The third thing is, try not to burn yourself out. So if you're learning programming, like myself, I'm trying to learn Python at the minute. As some of you may know, I am not a programmer. I'm really shit at it. So I'm taking this opportunity to try and learn Python. And I'm doing a online course on Udemy. Not sponsored by Udemy or any of that shit, don't worry about it. But that's just what I'm using to get this course. There's plenty of stuff on YouTube that does the same job. But if you're running a course like that, where it's just you can click next and watch the next video, or click next and watch the next video, and just keep rattling through it, try to pace yourself. So there's nothing worse than whenever you get a project and you're really, really excited about it. You've got the skill. You're like, yes, I'm going to learn this. I'm going to be amazing. I'm going to be the best person in the world at this. And you spend 6 hours in one day trying to learn it, just rattling through, some 6-hour tutorial video on YouTube. It's not going to work out. You're not going to be able to take in that amount of information in that short amount of time. A lot of these things that are like, 0 to professional in 4 hours, I would be skeptical. Definitely they're good for some information, but break it up. Take it in chunks. I'm working from home at the minute, so I've been doing them on my lunch break. I set myself that half an hour a day. I go on and do some programming and practice. And to pace it out, it stops you burning out. So it stops you becoming either fatigued with the skill itself. You can get pissed off with the skill thing. This baking just isn't for me because it's just not working. But in reality, it's just you put too much time into listening or doing something, and you've just become bored with it, essentially. So try and split it up and make a routine out of it. Fourth, practice. And I know this might sound self-explanatory, but the more you practice something, the better you're going to get at it. And again, put this into your regimented time slots, or maybe have an extra time slot, maybe at the weekend or something, where you're going to practice whatever you did in the week. So say for sake of argument, baking, if or if you learned how to make a Victoria sponge cake on the weekend, go make a Victoria sponge cake. And you will fuck up and you will make mistakes, and that is fine. Don't worry about it. If you mess up and make mistakes, it's all right. It's practice. You're all good. And if you're trying to practice and you don't actually have something that you can practice, so say programming for sake of argument, if you don't have something in mind that you could practice on, so say your big idea, which as I said previously you should have, but if you don't have a goal or something that you can practice making, go online, search. There's tons of people who have made things, done things that you could copy essentially. And copying is fine whenever you're learning, because you're taking something that you know either works in the case of programming or baking or whatever, or looks good in the case of baking or woodworking or something like that. You know that it will work and it is doable. So copy it, do it, and you can put your own flair on it if you want, but you just do it and practice at it, and you're probably going to make mistakes. Which brings me on to my last one. You're not going to be great at this right away. Some people are really good and able to pick up skills and just be absolutely great at them right from the get-go. I'm sort of annoying in that I can pick up a skill and become okay at it pretty quickly, and then shit for a very long time, and then I get better at it. But some people are able to pick up a skill and go really good really quickly, and some people pick up a skill and sort of they're not great, and then they get good after time. Whichever type you are, it does not stop you from learning a skill. Okay, there is very little in this world that someone can physically not do. Okay, it's a case of either you don't want to put in the time to do it, or you can't be asked. Both similar things, but there's very little that you physically cannot do. So enough time and practice, you'll get into it, but just be aware that you will potentially be bad at it right from the start. And whenever you make something, there'll be imperfections, but that's fine. They're your imperfections. They make it your thing, whether it be little quirks in the code or the way you've commented something, baking, the way that the icing's formed, woodworking, maybe you didn't hide a nail quite well, or the wood hasn't seamed together quite nicely. It's fine. You'll notice those things. No one else will. You notice them because you're bent over it, working at it, and pouring yourself into this project, whatever it may be. And you're close to it constantly while you're building it. So you notice these things. You notice it whenever something doesn't go quite right. You're like, no, it's not great. But no one else will. Whenever you show someone something, they'll look at you, oh, that's cool. And probably hand it back and then carry on talking about with whatever they wanted to talk about in the first place. But here we are. But these imperfections are fine. So just be aware that you will potentially be bad at it at the start, and it is fine. So that's it. That's my little tips of how to potentially become a little bit better at the skill and see it through. Sorry, more than anything, from what you start. Hopefully it's been helpful to someone, at least one person out there. I'm happy. If you've liked this stuff, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you later.